Hi everyone. I'm going to be demoing today on a pizza pan, and it's an Easter truck pattern with a lot of cool colors. And I'm just going to show you from beginning to end how to prepare your pizza pan and to do a really cool design. So first of all, I want to show you that this is a 16-inch jumbo pizza pan. I know a few people had called me and said it seemed too small, but it's a 15.9 inch, it says right there actually, or 40 centimeter diameter pizza pan. And you're not working on the actual inside where you'd put your pizza, you're working on the outer edge. Okay, so you're working on the outer edge to do your design. This is really cool. I'm after doing a lot of different pieces now on the pizza pan, and they worked out really well. You'll see a little glare here at the beginning, but that'll fade. It's the tin that makes the shine there. So what we're going to do first is to take our 3/4 faux sable, of course, and we're going to use the DecoArt decoupage and in the matte finish. You can use the paper one, the indoor, outdoor. They have a lot of different brands or mediums in the decoupage. So we're going to be using the matte finish. I'm going to pour about that amount. Now make sure when you finish pouring, you just wipe your edge off your decoupage container and put your cap back on so it doesn't get really tight on you. Okay, I dampen my brush, and if you leave a little bit of water in your brush, it's fine with the matte medium. And I fully load, and I just brush on my matte medium to my pizza pan. The very first one that I did, and that was before Christmas, a few months ago, before Christmas, I guess. I prepared it by spraying it with the Rust-Oleum. It was still worked, but I found a trick that you don't really need to be spraying the pizza pans so that the paint won't come off. Using the decoupage and the tissue paper and the black chalky paint, that's all you really need to make it more durable. Okay. And there we go. And you go right to the very edge. You see the little spaces that are opening up there, but that's fine. That's just the surface on the pizza, on the tin. Okay. So there you go. And now I'm going to take a tissue paper. I'm using black today, tissue paper. I usually use white, but today I'm going to be using black because my base coat is going to be black. So I just take a piece of black tissue paper and I scrunch it all up into a ball. There you go. There you go. Scrunch it up into a ball. And I'm going to lay it on my pizza pan. There you go, just like that. I smooth it out a little with my hands just to make sure that it goes right around the very edge. Okay, right around the very edge. And just kind of smooth it out with your hands. I then take my brush again and my matte medium, my decoupage medium, and I give it another coat coverage of the decoupage. Okay, this works really well. It gives a really nice finish. And sometimes if it gets a little too dry, you can easily just wet your brush into your water and give it another coat. I'm going to add a bit more, and you can see how really easy the cover comes off when you've wiped around it after. It just keeps it a really clean area there for you. And put your cover back on. Okay. And I'm just kind of just giving it a loosey-goosey coverage. I am going right around the very indentation there for the ridge. Okay. Like so. It's no rhyme or reason. There's no grain to this or anything. So we just kind of put it on and make sure it's all covered. You'll see little peekaboo places there, and you cover those up. All right, here we go. So that looks great. Now I wet my brush in the water, and I hold my pizza pan from the bottom, just holding it there, and I wet with water right around the tissue paper, the very edge. What you're doing is you're just getting the paper wet so it'll be easier for you to tear off, okay? So I just went right around, and I didn't care about those wrinkles. I like the wrinkles. It gives lots of nice texture. And there, I just can see here. Now I'll hold it with this hand. There we go. So I'm tearing it off the very edge, right around the edge. It comes off really easily, okay? A lot more easier than if you had to use scissors with it. I then take my fingernail kind of and just go in around. Now, if it tears away from the edge, like it did right here, don't worry about that. Just stick it back on there with a little bit of decoupage, because what you're going to do now is cover that with a chalky gesso in black. So we're just going to let that dry for just a couple minutes, and we're going to get our black chalky gesso. Here, chalky gesso, I like to use the black and the white. The white, I cover all my canvases with them. They give a nice silicone feel to it. And the black gives it a nice finish, and it protects our finish. So we really didn't need to be spray painting those pieces. And like I said, if you use a white background or a lighter color background in your piece, use the white tissue paper, okay? And then you just base coat it then after, once it's been decoupaged, with the white chalky gesso, and that'll be worked just fine. So we're going to take the black chalky gesso, a little bit of water, and we're going to just completely cover up our pizza pan. These are great surfaces to paint on. They're durable. They look nice on the doors or hallways, wherever. And it's a nice surface to paint on. Once the tissue paper dries, of course, it gives you a nice textured surface. And I go right to the very edge up here where you see the little peekaboo spots. Just go right to the very edge. And this takes approximately, I'd say about a half an hour to an hour to dry. I sometimes do one or two, prepare the surfaces and just let them dry overnight. That way they're nice and sealed and properly prepared for us to paint on. So there it is, the base coating off your pizza pan, the preparation. Okay, I'm going to put this one over here to dry. And I'm going to bring over this one. Here we go. So this one is completely dried, as you can see. And we're losing our bit of glare, which is pretty cool. Okay, so you can see it just dries really tough, very nice surface, nice feel to it for painting on. Okay, and this is the line drawing is in the pattern packet off the truck, and we're just tracing off the truck first. I will be giving you in the pattern packet two types of truck, the peacock teal truck and the purple wave truck colors. So that's pretty cool. You can do both or whatever. So yeah, so here it is. I just traced it off with a bit of, with a piece of white graphite paper. And we're going to begin using our 1/2 inch faux sable. And we're going to paint the truck purple wave. You can use these colors that I'm using for this pattern, or you can use what you have in your paint box. Okay, I'm sure you must have about 50 colors of purple and pinks and whatever. So use what you have. I'm going to use the purple wave. I was kind of stuck on that color, so I thought, okay, I'll use the purple wave. So I'm loading my brush into my purple wave, and I'm going to base coat that truck. Start where I'm right-handed. I will start over on my left-hand side and just fill it in. Now, when you're painting on anything textured, it feels a little different, especially when you're used to painting on a lot of smooth surfaces. You can see as I'm painting, I am using the side of my bristles as a measure. Okay, so just come right up. This blue purple wave has such good coverage. Sometimes, you know, in different colors, you may need two covers or possibly three, but this one just covers in one coat, which is pretty cool. Okay. We're going to leave the center here black because that's where our eggs are going to go. Alrighty. And now we're going to base coat our bottom part of our truck. And you can see me there in the camera. Pretty Eastery colors. DecoArt came out with a lot of new colors for 2020 and things for the Easter egg colors, the pinks, the antique pinks, the vintage pinks, and so nice for especially doing our Easter spring pieces. This pattern is called Extra Special Delivery, and I thought was pretty cool. It's on my website, and anyone that orders the pattern packet from my website, they'll get the 4 wooden eggs with the decoupage scrapbook paper on them, which I'll show you a little bit later. So it's a pretty neat pattern to play with, and I will be showing you what it looks like with the eggs on there, and like, you know, with just the painted eggs, and then with the wooden eggs on there. It just adds another little dimension to your piece. I am very big on dimensional pieces. I just love the mixed media part of it. And here we go. Just kind of come in there with the chisel edge of your brush, and you're good. You notice I'm painting in sections, which it works very well, especially when you're getting ready to shade your piece. You can see where you began and ended with the paint. I'm going to do the fenders on the, I was thinking bicycle that time because I'm so used to painting bicycles, but trucks I paint a lot of too, the Christmas trucks and things. And I did a one with hydrangeas in it, and that was a mermaid tail color, which is very cool. And this one is an Easter one, and of course getting ready for summer. There are no doubt be a summer truck coming in the making. So there we go. I'm just going to come on down with the, now if you want to, you can change to a smaller brush to do that, but I kind of just chiseled in and I was okay with that. Okay. Now, for the fender, or the, not the fender, but the tailgate, I guess you'd call it, on the bottom, we're going to be using our number 8 black gold flat. And Jilly Bean has these black gold flats on her website, actually, and they're really nice to work with. And number 8 is a nice size. I'm going to be using white, or warm white, I guess, is what I'm going to be using. And we'll pour it out. There we go. And a little bit of lamp black. The colors are all on the pattern packet, so you can see which colors. And like I said before, you know, I'm sure you have your own palette and you like to paint different colors. So paint with what you have. Okay, I'm going to load into the black first with number 8, black gold flat. And then I'm going to swipe into the white just a little. And I'm going to go right over here to this tailgate. Redo it. There you go. And come right across with the black swiped into a little bit of white. That just gives you a little bit of a mixed gray tone. You can even use the zinc if you like. Zinc color is very pretty gray, but I just kind of like to do it with the white as an accent or a bit of a highlight, and that job is done. Okay, now I'm going to go with just a little bit of white. There we go. And if you went over on your truck a little bit, like I did right here, just come with the purple again and just kind of fill that in, okay? Fill that in. There you go. For the tires underneath, I still use my number 8. And I just load it up with the black. And now I cornered into my white. And I had the white on the outside, and I just filled it in. Like that, like so. Okay, load up your black, corner into your white, and use your flat, just bring it down. You can see the streaks for the tire markings there. And if they get too muted and fade in, just go back into your white and add a bit more to it. And that's that. Okay. Now, we're going to shade our truck on the purple, and I like to use Dioxin Purple by Traditions. I just love the look of the transparency when you're shadowing with the Traditions, okay? So I'm going to go back to my 1/2-inch faux sable. My faux sables are on my website, so you can go on there to look for the brushes too for what I'm using today, faux sables and the IPC mops and the script liners, so they're all there. We're going to wet our brush, just dry it on a paper towel. I'm going to corner into my Dioxin Purple and just blend it down a little back and forth in the same direction. And I'm going to start with over here on my truck and come right around. Back and you. So I want that to be shaded on the inside and also on the outside, okay? And that just highlights the color. The purple color just gives it a nice pop to it. Now, I like to use the mop when I soften, and this is my IPC that I'm using. So when it's wet, I just kind of tap in between there. There you go. And that just kind of adds to the shadowing. You always use a dry mop. You never get your mop wet. What I like to do is you do a little bit of hand sanitizer, and I put on just a regular hand sanitizer, which we have lots of now around for sure. And I get a dry paper towel, and I just there we go, put a little bit. Oh, I got it twisted. Childproof. Just on my paper towel there. And I just wipe it over with my hand. Wipe it over with my hand. And in between colors, I just kind of swipe my mop on my paper towel, okay? I'm not wetting it. I'm just cleaning off the color that I had previously there. So we're going to shadow again. Corner into and if you've got a little bit too much water, you just dab it very lightly on your paper towel. So we're going to go on this side. Need a little bit more. There we go. Across, across, and take our mop. You start in the dry area and you mop to the center. Okay, there, that looks good. And I just take my paper towel and I just lightly just brush off the excess. So your brush is staying nice and dry, and so you're able to use it. You do wash it, of course, at the end of your painting day. So you do wash it once you finish your project. Okay, I'm going to continue on with my shadowing, and we're going to, now for the line copy, you can go back and trace on your lines if you want to, but I kind of can see mine there. I'm going to come down and go across, go across. Take my mop. And can you see me here? I think, yeah, I'm in the, mop it away. Oops, we got into the white a little. We're not going to worry. We're going to wet a dry brush. And I'm just going to dab that. There we go. Dab is just a dampened paper towel. Okay. Remember, when we make boo-boos, that's part of the process. We just paint over it. It's only paint. So I'm going to come down here on this side and come across. And we'll take our cleaned mop and we'll just mop in that area. Okay, you need to do this while the paint and the shade is still wet. okay? Okay, we're going to shade in those little side fenders there. Same thing. Corner into the dioxin purple. And I'm going to come around. Ooh, we got a lot on that. I'm going to flip my brush over and come on the other side. Okay, so let's just soften. Putting it back. There you go. Clean off the excess. Soften again. The IPC oval, it's a beautiful oval, soft. I use it as a mop or whatever. It's got a nice soft surface or top of it, so it really mops very well, I got to say. Okay. Now, you can take a piece of chalk, or I like to use a Choco pencil, either or, and a ruler, and we're going to just come in a little bit on the trunk of the, or the back of the truck. Okay, I come in about 1 inch or so. It's on your line copy, so don't worry. You can use your, wait for it to dry, and then use your graphite paper to trace it off. But it's just a little, it's a little bit area there that I want to shadow. Okay. So we're going to wet our brush again. And we're still going with the dioxin purple. And I'm blending it in one direction, back and forth. And I'm going to shade right around this outer part of where that chalky pencil is, okay? So we'll say the outside edge. And you turn your pan around so you can, I hope you can see me here. I think it looks like it's in the camera, which is good. I have a tendency to hold things close to me when I paint. My very first business name was Friends from the Heart. And that's why I called it Friends from the Heart, pieces that I made, because I hold my piece close to me, close to my heart when I paint them. But I love to pick my pieces up and to hold them close while they're you're painting them. Okay. Now we're going to go on the inside as well. Okay. So we wet our brush and corner load, dioxin purple. The strength of that dioxin purple is amazing. It's just such a beautiful strength to it. And you're going over your texture, and it's going to feel funny, okay, a little different, especially if you're not used to working with textures. But the chalky gesso and the decoupage, the matte finish on it just gives a beautiful surface. Okay, I'm starting in the dry, I'm pouncing into the wet. You're just eliminating those, any harsh lines that you see there, okay? Okay, there we go for that part. So I'm just going to give my brush a little wipe on that hand sanitizer just to make sure that it's clean. And like I say, we keep our brush dry because we will be using it again. So that's our truck portion. Now, as I'm looking at my truck, I'm saying, okay, I'd like to have a little bit of depth right around here on the bottom towards the tailgate here, and a little bit here around the outer edge of the truck area. Okay, so we will add another shadow with lamp black, and we have lamp black on our palette. So I'm using my 1/2 inch faux sable. I'll just remove that tissue there and get a dry one. There we go. And we go corner into the lamp black and blend it out as we did the dioxin. And I'm going to shadow right on this edge here with a little bit. Okay, and you take your mop and you just mop it in. So it does give it a little bit more depth to it. So, and I'll wet it again, corner, and you blend your. I have a tendency to paint a little darker, so that's why, you know, you see the darker shades come in there. So that's it for there. Match this up over here. Okay, when you hold your piece up on an angle, sometimes you get that wonky look to it. And you just shadow here. There we go. And you tap it in. I am going to add another shade of lamp black just underneath that edge there. Okay, I'm just going to come across, and your line is there because your shadow line of the dioxin is there. Okay, and yeah, we can probably add just here and there, not a lot, probably whatever was left on your brush there. Kind of. Okay, and one more spot I think will be good. It'll be close to that tailgate. Okay, you just come across with a shade, and I'm not going to mop that away because I kind of want that to be a little more in depth than the rest of it there. On the gray, let's do a little bit of shade of lamp black as well to the top portion. Here we go. Okay. Our tires seem to have fell into the or got lost, I guess, in the tailgate. So we'll just go with a little bit of black and white mix there and come down. There you go. Okay, so we just repaint them like that. That's our tires. Okay, we're going to let our piece dry a little, and we're going to go on with the next phase. Okay, I'm going to add a little bit of line work to my truck. So I'm going to use my number 1 black gold script liner. I love the number 1. I use this quite often. And if I want to go a little smaller and a little tiny bit shorter, I use my 0 black gold by Dynasty. And both of those are on my website, so you can go there to look those up. I'm going to wet my script liner, and I'm going to load into my lamp black. Okay, you want that paint to be a little thin, not too overly wet, but nice and thin. And I'm just going to give a little loose outline with a couple little dots, just loosey-goosey. You can see I'm not really being rigid. I'm stopping halfway and where I want to, okay? On the fenders, I kind of came in from the outer side and just add some little quirky little lines. I'll also go along here, dot, dot, break up the consistency, right? So those script liners work so well for doing our line work. Okay, I think we're good. Another one little thing with lamp black, I just went right across here to add a little handle there. Okay, and right here on the bottom, let's separate the tires from the tailgate. We'll do that as well, since we have our script liner going. Okay. So that'll only take a couple minutes to dry. So what we're going to do next is we're going to trace off our eggs for the back of the truck. And we'll use our line copy. You can see on your line copy when you get your pattern packet that I put the X's are where the shade goes, okay? So it just gives you an idea where to put the shade. Very easy to follow. And the eggs, these are the eggs that we put on the background. Okay, so kind of lay them down, and right where I drew them on the tracing paper for the pattern packet is exactly where I want you to put the eggs. Okay, so we'll get our piece of white graphite and we'll trace those out. Okay. Piece is dry, so we don't have to worry. You know, the amazing thing when you're working, you'll notice when you're working on the pizza pans for your designs, the paint dries very quickly, which enables us to whip up some really cool projects very fast. Okay, that one's in behind there. And I'm just going to trace these. You can see that some are overlapping, and I still drew it in with my graphite just to, I'll talk about that in a moment. And right here and right here. So these are basically the background eggs, okay? Now I will just outline it. I don't know if you can see it there, but I will outline with my chalky pencil for you. There we go. So those eggs, some are down in the truck and some more are on top. So just look at your line copy too, just to get the position of them. I'm going to be using my number 1/2 inch faux sable again to base coat my eggs. And I'm going to be doing this one, and this one first, because you can see they're the eggs that are really pushed in the background. Okay, now you can randomly choose your colors. I gave you on the pattern packet, you can see what colors I've used, and it's your preference. One is Open Water, and Open Water by Deco Art. It's a beautiful color. It's an acrylic, and it's a beautiful color for spring. It's one. I also liked the new Cactus Flower, which is a pink. And who do we know loves pink? jelly bean pink. I always say we got our jelly bean pink. She loves pink colors and paints a lot of beautiful flowers and things with pink. There's also a vintage pink, which I love too here. So I'm going to put this here. At least you'll be able to see the colors. And it's pretty close to the cactus flower, but not quite. Coral bush is another nice pink. So we'll just give you an idea of the, have it shooken out. This was a new one there that I opened up. There you go. Oh, that's pretty. The coral blush, not bush, coral blush. And the red alert, you know, in the bag of Easter eggs, you get all the different colors, the yellows and the reds. And well, this red alert I found reminded me of that color that was in those Easter eggs. Move my palette here so you can get to see my colors. There we go. Okay, I'm going to begin with the pink, and I'm going to choose that coral blush. It looks so pretty. And I'm going to start over on my left-hand side, and I'm just going to paint. And like I say, we're going to do the ones in the very background first. And with pinks and things, and reds too, you can see it's not going to cover quite as well because it's more transparent. So we can, as we're moving forward, we can let those dry and add another coverage. Okay, this coral blush. Let's do that open water one next. Okay, open water is beautiful. I use this on a piece, a beach scene too. I just love that color. So we're going to come around. We're going to, now open water is like the purple wave. It very, very good coverage. Now you must remember you're going over a lot of lumps and bumps, and don't worry about it, okay? The lumps and bumps are good. And with that one, I think is just one coverage is all we need with the open water one. Okay, let's put a red alert there. Red alert. Red alert. Yeah, I had to look at the color then, make sure I was saying it right. But I love that color as well. And you can see it, you're going to need a couple coats to cover. Okay. Now, sometimes what I do is I base coat some of the eggs with white. That way, when you're putting a lighter color on over it, you won't need as much coverage. Okay. So if you wanted to, you could have painted the white first and then went in with your color. Okay, so I'm going to go back. I'm going to let that dry a little. These are great. These are by Ranger Heated Craft Tools. I was in Phoenix last year at the Creativation last January, and they had these at the booth. So I bought them for my studio for us to use in studio, which is really cool for drawing and great for mixed media pieces because lots of times you've got things that are loose and may fly off with the hair dryer. So that really works well. I think for the red hair, I am going to base coat, just do a little base coat of white because then it'll pop that red out more. Okay, so you can see what I'm doing. The red seemed to sink into the black. So just give it a coverage there to make it more so our red will pop out. Okay. Now we'll go back to the coral blush and we'll give that another coat. Coral blush is beautiful. I can see a flamingo in my future with that, no doubt. Beautiful, beautiful colors. And like I say, these are only colors. I tried to use a lot of the new colors that DecoArt had, the 2020 new colors, but you use what you have. Some of us have a lot of paints and things, and use what you have, okay? And we all have different preferences. And we'll go with the red alert. Or that white, yeah, that's better. Gives the red a nice pops out. Of course, you know me, I love red. Red is my favorite color. I do a lot of poppies and a lot of things that have red. Tuscan red is another nice color that I like to use. And this red alert is nice for Eastery reds. Okay, we're going to stencil the back eggs first before we go ahead with the front eggs. And I'm using a stencil by the Crafters Workshop, and it's the cookie and cake stencil, okay? And it's the swirl one. I have those on my website, and they're awesome to use, okay? They last a long time when we use them. And I will show you a quick way that I clean them too, because that's half of the battle is cleaning them, especially with the intricate little details and little hooks and stuff. So we'll go into that after. So that's the cookie and cake stencil. They're awesome. I have them in music notes and swirls and lettering because I love a lot of lettering, like written handwork and stuff. So we're going to be using our 1/2-inch Dynasty Stencil Pro, my fave. And I'll be showing you my technique for this. A lot of people stencil a lot of different ways. But when I was introduced to this brush a few years ago, I thought, oh my goodness, the lower top part of the bristles here was so velour feeling to it, and such a thick brush that it made stenciling really cool. Okay. What we're going to do is use our warm white, and I'm just going to give another dot of warm white here. There we go. And we start with a dry stencil brush, okay, never wet, and we'll load into our white, and you can see I'm pushing, push both sides all around, making the paint go on the inside of the bristles as well as the outside. Push, okay. I then take a dry paper towel and I squeeze my paint off in between, removing the excess, okay? So it's very important to remove the excess. I then take my stencil and I go over my egg. We'll start with this one first. And I hold my brush perpendicular, straight up, and I very lightly at the beginning go to the left, I stop, and I go to the right. And I fill in my stencil and I go in both directions. Now, if you come to the edge of that egg and you go over, you're not going to worry, like those little markings there. I just take a wet brush, dab it off, and voila, there you go. You can remove it from your side there, okay? So we'll do the blue next, and we'll lay it down. We don't need to reload. There's enough on this. Now we're going to go a little bit more, push a little bit more heavier. You can see what we're doing there. I'm going in all directions, to the right, to the left, and making the stencil. I think our red is dry. Yeah, it's dried. So let's try it. Maybe it will. It lasts forever because the bristles are so thick and it holds a lot of paint for you. Yeah, we're good. So one load goes a long way. Okay, so they're done in the background. I'm going to just lay my brush on a damp paper towel, okay? Cover it up like so, and I'm just going to lay it aside. I'm not cleaning it. I'm just going to lay it on a damp paper towel for now. Okay, so the other eggs that we see here, well, we'll start to fill those in. What color didn't we have there that I said, yeah, let me see. Oh, I see one, another one. It's a frosted plum, which is a very nice color as well. Okay, so we'll add a little bit of frosted plum to the egg. Over here, I think this one here. Just going to look at my line drawing just so that'll go. There we go. And we could have did with the same thing, filled it in with white first, because now we're covering it up. So we'll let that dry. We'll go with another color of pink. Let's choose this one. I think this one is called, is it melon? Yeah, this one is a melon, which is a very pretty color as well. It's a more brighter pink than the vintage pink. So, and we'll just take a look at our line drawing. Yeah, these eggs here are just kind of down in the truck. Okay. So we're just putting them there. And that one there, let's see, what other color? I think I'm going to, oh, I know, peacock teal. Peacock teal is this color, which is very pretty too. And we also have a moody blue, but I think I'll use the peacock teal. This is what I did the other truck in. So you'll get the two colored photographs of the two trucks that I did, just to show you the different colors. Peacock teal is a very pretty color too as well. Come around, and those eggs are kind of just in the push down in the bottom of the truck there. And the peacock teal is a very good coverage as well, but I think we'll add maybe one more coat to it. We let them dry. Let's go back to our frosted plum. There we go. So that's a good coverage there. And our melon. Very pretty pink. We'll cover that again. And like I said before, we could have filled that in with white before we brought in the colors, but if you didn't, it just take an extra coverage of paint. Now, while we're waiting, we'll let that dry a little. We're going to highlight our truck right there between underneath the lid of the truck door, the hatchback, I guess, or the, I don't know what you'd call that on the truck, but this portion right here, we're going to do a little bit of a highlight. Okay, so we're going to do that. You can do it two ways. We can do a highlight by shading that color, okay, with white, and we can just go on the inside. And take our mop and mop, okay? Just kind of soften that water line and just soften. So we'll do around that area. Again, you can see what I'm doing here. I'm just adding a highlight, okay, right to the inside portion. And we'll do our mopping. It just softens our lines and things. I usually start in the dry area and move into the dark. You don't want to remove all of that dark because you do want to see a nice strong highlight. I am going to highlight the fenders a little, but I think what we'll do that, I'll use my number 14 Dynasty Dome. Okay, these were really nice for using our dry brushing, basically is what we're doing. So we'll load into our white with the dry brush and we pinch it off, make sure it's all nice and dry. And we'll just dry brush. And you can see the dry brush over the fenders looks really cool because the tissue paper is crinkling underneath and just gives it another dimension. So we'll dry brush there, a little here, and basically anywhere that you want to. Okay. I am going to dry brush a little on top. Do another little bit of white, squeeze it off. Try to stay in my camera so you can see me. There we go. And we'll just add a little. If we wanted to, we could just touch up these with a little light color as well. Okay. Easter eggs. Okay. I think we'll need another coverage on them. The melon for sure. So we'll go with the melon. This is such a relaxed piece to paint. So relaxing. So nice to paint the spring colors. And the peacock teal, which is a very nice color as well. And the frosted plum. Okay, now for the Easter eggs in the back, I think what we'll do is shadow those a little first. The pinks, the vintage pink and the melon and the cactus flower, I like to shade with antique rose. Okay, I just find that a very nice color for shading. Alrighty, so we'll brush and we'll shade the corner and we'll blend. You can see that coming out really very nicely. So I'm just going to come around. You can see how nice that looks on that pink Easter egg. Okay, I just shade down in between. There we go. And a shadow there. You can use your mop if you wanted to. But I think that looked very good there, but you could use your mop. You can see how pretty that makes that Easter egg look. Okay. For the blues and greens, I'm just going to use Payne's Gray, okay? I like Payne's Gray as a shader as well. Blues and grays. So that open water there is will shade with blue. And can we see it here? Okay, there we go. Come around. And just gives it a little shadow. Okay. And the red, alert red, I think I'm going to shade that with lamp black. So a little bit of lamp black. And we'll shadow that one just behind there to give it a little shadow. And there, okay. And we can probably map that one as well. If it's a little too sharp of a line or whatever, there we go. So we can just soften it. Remember to wipe it on your hand sanitizer paper towel and lay it down. Okay, I think our eggs here in the front are now ready to be stenciled. So we'll take our Stencil Pro and we'll load into the white again, pushing it down and using a dry paper towel, squeezing it off in between. Okay, squeeze it off. There you go. Now we'll take our stencil. These stencils are awesome, I have to say. I'm really loving these. They're by the Crafters Workshop, and I had them ordered there a few months ago, and I gotta say they're really going over well. And I'm going to the right, going to the left, and to the right, to the left. Make a nice soft look to that Easter egg. And here we go again. And we didn't even go over the edge on those, so it's pretty cool. Okay, what we'll do now, and we'll still need our Stencil Pro, so we'll just lay it in that damp paper towel again to the side, and I'll just leave my stencil here for a moment because I will show you how to clean it in a moment. Okay, so the pink right here, we're going to shadow with the Antique Rose. And I'm thinking Antique Rose I've had for a while, so that's not a new one. So you more than likely you do have your Antique Rose. Okay, back and forth in the same track. There we go. And let's shade close to the bottom of that Easter egg and around. Let's go around, right around. Just gives it a nice finish to it. Okay, I'm not even going to mop that because I just like the look of that. I'm going to leave it like so. And let's do that peacock teal with the Payne's Gray again, okay? I think that'll be cool on that. Peacock teal is a very nice spring-like color. And like I said earlier, I painted my other truck with the peacock teal, or the mermaid tail is nice too. Any of those colors. Now for the frosted plum, you can use frosted plum with a little bit of black to it. You can mix your color there. So you can take a little bit of frosted plum and put it aside. My paper's in the way here. We go. And take a little bit of black, probably a ratio of 2 to 1 for frosted plum and and black. So that just kind of changes the frosted plum to a little darker plum looking color. Okay, wipe your palette knife off in between. Okay, so wet my brush, paper towel, and corner into that mixture and blend. Okay, and we'll come right around. Yes, that's a very nice shade for that. Sometimes you'll go a little darker, which is fine, a little more to the black. And it's just by choice, okay? If your color was a little too dark, just add a little bit more frosted plum to it. Okay, there's no right or wrong to it. All righty. So what we're going to do now is take our liner, our script liner, or number 1, and I very loosely outline the Easter eggs, okay? So I use my lamp black here. And I wet my liner brush and went into my lamp black, and I thinned out my paint, okay? I thinned my paint out. You see me here? I think you can. I'm going to move my paint set away now so we can. There we go. Okay, so I thinned out my paint to an ink consistency, pulling that paint out, okay? So your script liner is very easy to use. I just kind of very loosely went around the eggs here and there. I didn't fully stay on the lines. I just kind of loosely went around, okay? Just to give it some, just another little dimension, okay? All righty. Now underneath here, I just use my dome blender, and with the white, again, I just kind of scrubbed on very lightly a highlight there, okay? Just underneath the truck. And that window there, little in the back of the truck, I kind of put in a little bit of a highlight in between there. Okay, now we can dunk our brush down into the water so it doesn't dry in too good. All right, now for the stenciling on my piece, one of the trucks I said I had gather. The other truck I had spring. You can put welcome. I chose to put it right on the back of my truck here. I also want to show you a really cool stencil, and it's by DecoArt. They came out with a new line of stencils called Stencils on a Ring. They are awesome, quite a game changer, especially when you're doing lettering on things. They're really cool. I'm using this one. It's the Whimsical Delight, and they come on a ring just like this. The large letters, small letters, numbers, exclamation marks, you name it. Some just different things there, that ands and question marks, whatever. So it's pretty cool. It's really cool. It's I use them on the ring. I'm sure some people probably would take off. They pick out what letters they want to use. I use them on the ring. And I'm just going to show you now. I'm going to probably put spring on here. The spring I had on mine that you see on the pattern packet was a DecoArt lettering, which I use a lot as well. And it's this one, the ABC Americana, okay? So it was a little bit bigger. And the gather I used, it's one I have available in my studio. I sell them from my studio, so you can go on www.Annamarie Oke Designs or email me, Annamarie 860@gmail.com, and I can send it to you. So what I did, I looked up for my stencil. Okay, I'm going to put spring, I think. Let's put spring. So we'll get the large letters, which are here, and it says number 19, so you can see, you'll know the inside out because it's 19 on the top corner. And I just lay my stencil down like that, and we can measure this, S-P-R-I-N-G, roughly. Yeah, we're roughly in the line there. Okay, so I'll take my Stencil Pro and load up with white again and pinch it off like before. Okay, and hold my stencil. These are great because you can see through the plastic, and we're going in a right and left direction. So spring, okay, and SP, let's see where the P is, should be back here, P, and it's number 16, and we lay them down and measure it there, SP, and we'll just go ahead and to the right, to the left, SP, QR, SPR is number 18. So you can see how cool this is to use. Very easy. SPR, I, HI, I is number 9. It's great they've got them numbered so you can see the right side, you know, especially if you're not quite sure. And there we go. Pretty. I, N, M, N. N is number 14. These are called the Whimsical Delight. They have different forms of lettering, which is pretty cool. N and G. Now, if you're not sure where to place your letters or whatever for stenciling, you can measure, take your time, measure out each piece, what they, how wide they are. So C, D, E, F, G. Okay, here we go. And G is number 7. So I just had one coat, and that completely covered my stencil. Spring. Okay. So it dries really fast, as you can see. Over here, I probably had a little bit of water on my brush there, and it smeared a little, but I'm not going to worry about that too much. I can take a wet, damp brush and just kind of clean up the area a little bit. There we go. Okay. So that's done. Now, I'm going to show you while we're waiting for this to dry. I am going to put my brush down in water, give it a little rinse, okay, and just take it out. Be ready for me to wash. after. But I'm going to show you a really cool way of cleaning up your stencils. Okay, I usually tell my students, oh, don't wash your stencils. We'll use them, just wipe them a little. But when they're wiping them, they're removing some of the detail of the stencil. So what I like to do, I like to get a couple paper towels, and these are the Bounty ones. They're a bit heavier, so they do last. And I'll soak it in just water. Okay, I'll just dip it in the water, make it wet. Okay. And I lay it on a flat surface. Okay, in this case, I'll probably be laying it on my palette. So I'm just going to remove that palette, and there we go. So you lay your paper towel, you unfold it and lay it flat on your palette or your table. If your table got a plastic covering, just lay it down flat like so. Okay, doubled up. So you've got two halves and you fold it up as such. Okay, we'll put our stencil. I am going to find my other little stencil there. We'll clean that one as well. So I'll show you. So I lay it flat, lay my stencil flat on my surface there. You can pour a little bit more water on it if you want. It kind of needs to stick onto that paper towel there. Okay. Now, DecoArt, I'm using the brush and stencil cleaner. It comes with just a round cover on it. If I could find my other bottle there. Yeah. So when it comes with just a round bottle. But I found that the alcohol that you buy in this bottle that has a spray, it comes like this with a spray. It really good, fits on this perfectly. So you take it off of the alcohol bottle, put that cap back on. So you switch them out, okay? And you use the spray. And I spray my stencil. Oh, sprayed too much, did I? Okay. Now we're going to take another paper towel and dip it into water. This one is my wipe it off. There you go. Now, you can see it coming off. Where it's white, you can't see it coming off very plainly, but it is coming off on my tissue. Now, the stencil sticks down on that paper towel. Therefore, as you're going around your fine details, it's not coming off, okay, or hooking. So that's the idea there, and you just lay it to dry. For our stencils here, same thing. Lay it down and let's just smooth it down, and you're wiping it, okay, wiping it off. So it cleans it perfectly clean. So having it on that wet paper towel is what does the trick. And the brush and stencil cleaner by DecoArt, Deco Magic, it really works on the stencils, okay? So you can go over your letters that you had. So those stencils on a ring are really cool. Like I say, they're the Whimsical Delight. This is the one I'm using here today and whatever. So it's a very nice stencil to use. And like I say, when you're using it, putting your lettering on, you would measure it. I got a little space there, but I'm okay, because now what we're going to do, we're going to give our piece a coat of varnish, okay? And so we'll completely seal it. And I'm using the Americana Decor Soft Varnish. I love the soft varnish. Gives it a nice coverage and very nice look to it. Okay, let's get a nice clean brush. Our brush shouldn't be overly wet. It should be just damp when we use any varnish. So we're using our 3/4 faux sable. So I'm just giving it a nice little dry there. And I'm going to use it right from the container. So if I had a spoon or my palette knife, I would use that to pour it out on. And like I say, clean around your area again. Since I'm doing this one piece here, I'm just going to give this a coverage. This dries perfectly, perfectly clear, and it gives a very nice finish. That's Americana Decor Soft Touch. Now, side here, just make sure that your outer edges on the black part, especially, that you have a lot of coverage on that. That purple really comes out at you, doesn't it? It's amazing. Okay, I'm just going to let that dry a little. And even while it's wet, we're going to add the Duraclear Galaxy varnish. Okay, I like this for on my black surfaces. So I'm going to put a little on my palette, and it's the Duraclear Galaxy varnish. I love the look. Got to have the glitter. It's all about the glitter. And I'm just going to smooth that on, and you can see I'm doing it while my piece is still wet from the varnish. Okay. You can go a little bit on the eggs if you want to. It's no big deal. On the truck. We love the glitter. Okay, so I'm just going to let that dry a little. And I'm going to talk to you about the wooden eggs. Okay, so we'll leave that there for a moment. Now, on one of my trucks, on the Peacock Teal, I had the wooden eggs. I have these, and I include them with your pattern packet. Okay, you get 4 to each pattern packet. They're wooden eggs, and I have them decoupaged with scrapbook paper. Okay, I love scrapbook paper. If anyone knows me, they know that, oh gosh, here she goes with the paper. Reminds me of the days of the cutout paper dolls and that we used to play with. So what I did, I got some pretty cool pieces of paper that I loved. And there's some dots here, which is really cool, the purple dots. And this is a nice one as well. And I'm sure there's a bigger dot. Yep, here we go. With the dots. Okay, because we got a lot of pink in the background there. And so we'll just add those. So what I did, I used my decoupage. Okay, and this time I will spoon some out on my palette. There's my palette knife there. So you probably just need a couple teaspoonfuls. And wiped off my edge again. Okay, this really helps the cap not to stick on. Okay, so we'll take our large 3/4 faux sable, and I take my wooden egg, And I give it a nice coat of decoupage matte. I place my paper on my egg and give it another coat to cover, just like that. And you let it dry. Okay. Of course, if you get the pattern, you need to cut out your own pieces. I will include 4 to each pattern packet, and so I'll show you where to add them. One truck I added them, the other I didn't, so it's up to you. You don't have to. I did another new one, a new truck actually, with the bunny coming out on the side of them, called Hoppin' a Ride. And that one also, that pattern packet will be available or is available on my website. And you'll get the 4 Easter eggs already decoupaged with the papers. Also, if you want to, you can, even with the papers on, you could probably color in the flowers with markers, get the kids to do it. It's a great way for them to help with the Easter projects as well. Okay, so for the very top part of our project, as you can see, a pizza pan, there's nowhere to hang. So I came up with a really good idea with a binder clip. And I used the medium to large binder clips. You get them anywhere, at the Dollarama, your Dollar Tree, wherever. They're just the binder clips. And we attach it to the very top of our piece, like so. And that gives us a place to hang our piece. Okay. Also, I added some, you can add either Spanish moss, which is really cool, or you can add what's called a hemp grass. And you can put it in between your space there on top of your eggs. Then you can add your eggs, glue them on with the glue gun, add your eggs where you want to. There you go, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. If you want to do it that way. Okay. Now I will shade those eggs to the purple. I will use a little bit of deoxin purple. Everything else here, I'm going to shade with asphaltum or asphaltum. I'm using my large faux sable, but you can use your 1/2 inch. But you can see you're just giving it like an antique look, which looks really cool. Okay, come around. These will be done for you, of course, when you order the pattern packet off my website. So, okay, so that's the idea on the wooden eggs for your piece, okay? Or it looks just as nice without. It's totally your choice. I also added a bit of deco mesh. You can do different colors. There's pinks, and of course there's teals. And you can just add the 2 colors together. Let's see here now. Make a bow. There we go. And I use the glue gun and I just glue to the very top of my piece. Okay. I added little lights to it as well. You could do that as well. And I also picked this up, which I love the look of this. It's tubing. It's called Easter tubing. I don't know if you've ever seen this, but this is really cool for making bows and different things for in baskets. So you can embellish it with anything you want to, really. But it's a pretty cool piece. I've got to say, I'm really liking it. On the pizza pan is a great surface to paint on. And with the decoupage, the tissue paper, and the chalky gesso, it just makes for a fabulous surface and durable, and the paint doesn't come off. So that's it's, you can see it's drying out, and the glitter on the back, on the black parts look really nice. It's really starting to really look glittery, really Eastery looking in the colors. There we go. Here's our Easter piece. And with our bow, we'll glue that on later and see how that all works. So it's a very fun piece. So happy Easter, everybody, and stay safe, have fun, and happy painting.